not only good day, but Happy New Year to everybody. January 1st, I'm out in the shop, and as you guys can see, have a look. We have just went through a major meltdown. We got a major meltdown going on up here. We've had it now for about the last almost a week now, and we had temperatures that hit pretty much 9 and 10 degrees up here, anywhere 8 to 10 degrees after we had that big snowstorm. It was just a rapid, massive temperature change, and we had a big snowstorm for a few days. It was nice. I got the trails packed with a machine. Then we got hit with a god-awful warm spell here. So you have a look. Yeah, we still have snow, and you can still go in the bush with a machine. But look at the driveway and everything. We lost so much snow. And yeah, so we're in a fairly mild spell right now. It's probably hovering about 0 degrees, maybe -1 right now. So she's pretty calm on this New Year's Day. Not a speck of wind in the air. So I thought I brought this thing out of the shed. So I'm going to give it a good cleaning up, go over it a little bit, and clean it up a little bit. I don't put a lot of miles on this machine in a year. As you guys can see by watching my videos, this 2009 last year production 300 Skidoo Tundra, they're beauties in the bush. And like I said, they turn on a dime, and you really stand forward in these things. It's like riding a nice motocross or enduro motorcycle standing up. But anyway, they're good for the bush. I don't put a lot of hours on this. But I like to go over it once a year, have a good look before. At some point, just go over it. Because you never know what has gotten inside this machine in those sea containers in the summertime. Chipmunks, red squirrel, mice, hopefully not, but you never know. Those bastards get into everything and they nest and they chew. But the unfortunate part about these 300 Tundras with this chassis style, as you guys can see, they don't have that fold open hood. You look down here, these hoods and these Tundras just do not fold open. Like your older style snowmobiles, generally the hood flips forward. These ones here, you got to do a lot of taking the plastics off to get at your motor and everything. They're a bit of a pain in the ass that way, but you know, your side covers you can flip open to get at your battery, and you can get at your clutch and your brake and everything else. When you open the sides of these, they're a little different, or a lot different setup than your 04 and older Tundras. But anyway, that's just how they are, and that's what you're up against. You even look at the exhaust pipe on this Tundra. The actual factory high heat paint's not even really burned off yet. It's really not even started to rust yet on there. So that's what we're up to today. We're going to clean it up. We're going to grease up that skid on there. A few grease fittings on that skid. Going to put some oil in this thing, top up the oil, and just generally go over it. That's it. First, we'll clean it up and wipe it down a little bit. Because it does get, even with the tarp on this machine, it gets dusted over pretty good in that sea container. The nice thing about the sea containers is they're not on concrete, these machines. They sit on basically a hardwood floor, which is nice. So anyway, I'll carry on and I'll wipe this thing down. So as you guys can see, it's got a lot of dust and dirt on it. You look around in there, that's the kind of stuff you get from that thing just sitting in the shed. So what I'm going to do, go around, I want to give you a before shot. I'll give you a little before shot. And we'll do an after shot. She's coming along nicely. And let's face it, to go replace and buy a new Skidoo Tundra, I love those 600 Ace 4-strokes, but to buy a new Tundra, you're probably looking at between 12 and 15,000 bucks now by the time you throw in your PDI and your tax and freight. A good 600 Ace Tundra right now, just a basic long track Tundra, wouldn't surprise me if you're poking in that price range. So for now, I got to take care of what I got. Unless, of course, somebody with a lot of money wants to pony up and buy this machine. And that's one thing about storing your equipment inside. Not only are things super expensive nowadays to replace, but when you keep your equipment inside, I try and keep everything inside. I wish I could keep my top kick inside, but I just don't have the room. I need at least this work bay right here. It keeps your equipment out of the rain, keeps your equipment out of the sun. You know, those UV ultraviolet lights fading your plastic, fading your seats, drying out your rubber tracks. That's why I try and keep as much of my stuff inside as I can. And why wouldn't you, unless you got a lot of money and you really don't care? But that's not me. And another thing too, when you clean your equipment and you get up and close and personal with your equipment, before and after you use it, you can find the flaws in the system. Once you get close and you're cleaning, you might see something that you'd never see unless you got in there really close and personal with the machine. And that's what cleaning helps you do. It just allows you to find the flaws in the system. Now, I haven't washed this machine down with water or nothing. I took it out of the sea can, I fueled it up, I put fuel stabilizer in it, and I started it up and I ran it and I packed down the trails. And all I'm using on it today is a little bit of that original Armor All. That's all I ever use, really. The original Armor All that gives you the high gloss finish. And I don't like the new revamped formula they came out with a few years ago. In fact, I'll tell you a little story. I've used lots of Armor All in my life because I'm just weird that way. So anyway, on my equipment I use Armor All, I keep it shiny. But then I went and I bought a bottle of Armor All one day and I put it on my equipment and I didn't notice that the chemistry was different. It was the newer Armor All, and this was several years ago. And I know exactly when they changed it over because I was using it and it was a non-high gloss finish. So I sent an email to Armor All, and I said, what's going on with the chemistry of your Armor All? I just distinctly remember this because it was more watery and it didn't give you the high gloss finish. And they said, yes, we did change the chemistry, and it was something new they were adding to their lineup, and I didn't like it at all. I like the original Armor All, and they actually responded and said, yes, they did make changes, and they were coming out with something new. So I thought that was interesting. And, you know, a big kudos to those guys for at least responding to the email that I sent out. Because I will say, I've been using Armor All my whole life. My whole life, ever since I was young, and I've never stopped using Armor All. Another product I've been using my whole life, I can't help but say, WD-40. And with WD-40, the thing about WD-40 is not only is it a good little water displacer, but it's actually good for wetting down. You can wet down a seat with it, plastic, everything. It's not a harsh chemical combination, WD-40. It doesn't attack everything the way a lot of this stuff does. So, just a little insight on why I use Armor All. I have my whole life. It's been a good product for me, man. It gives you that high gloss plastic. It brings that dullness out of a plastic, and it brings it right up to spec for me. And there's probably other plastic enhancers on the market. I just use Armor All, but I'll bet you for you guys stateside, there's probably some nice stuff out there too. And as you can see underneath the seat of this Tundra, this is all fuel cell in this machine. There's your fuel tank right there. This machine's got a big fuel tank on it. All right, we'll keep picking away at this. All right, let's detail this clutch cover. And all you really want to do anyway when you're, like I say, when you're detailing this stuff or when you're cleaning your equipment or machinery, anything, and you take something like this apart, just check it out for cracks. Anywhere these things crack from vibration, anywhere, just have a look. Anything like guards, anything like clutch covers, anything. And it also, not only for cracks from vibration, but anywhere something may be rubbing, where it's out of position, where it's not fastened right, you'll see rub marks, wear marks, and then it just allows you to correct that stuff when you get it off. So cleaning the stuff up has several different advantages. And it keeps it in good shape. As you can see, this thing here, she's like brand new inside, and so it should be. All right, we'll put that back on. Everything's pretty much cleaned off on here. Check that belt, just do a basic inspection. Check that primary and that secondary clutch a little bit. And there's really no residual anything on this because I hardly put any miles on it, so we'll put that cover back on. So that cover fastens in the front. show you. You can't really see. Right there, that's Skidoo. Clutch cover clips right into there on the front pin. 3 tabs right there on the back. You snap them in first and then you just clip in the front. Pretty simple on these, a little harder to do in the dark, but that's what you get right there. She's clipped in. Now we'll clean up that seat. There's actually not much snow in the forecast here right now. Mostly possibly freezing rain out here tonight, maybe, they're saying. And a little bit of ice pellets possibly. Not a lot of snow right now in the forecast. And I've been actually doing more road sanding for the township than I have plowing snow right now this year. You can also do this when it's on the machine. It's just right now, it's up and close and it's already off. So why not do it? And on these Tundras too, you got 2 aluminum pins right here. And these 2 aluminum pins have to slip right up inside the seat to hold that front of that seat down. And it actually works pretty good, pretty slick. And that's it, they snap right in. All right, one thing we should do. Throw some oil in that thing. Whoa, I was a little overzealous. That was a bit of sloppy work on my part right there. And what we're throwing in there, original Bombardier BRP 2-stroke mineral oil right there. And believe it or not, this is the jug that came with the snowmobile. So this is pretty old oil, but you know what? Who cares? It's mineral oil, it's good, it's not going bad. And there's hardly nothing left in this jug. And the fella that I bought this snowmobile from told me this is the original jug of oil with this snowmobile still. So that's how much oil has went through the engine of this snowmobile right here. And it's about 1/4 to 1/3 full. So this snowmobile has got enough miles on it, I guess you could say, to burn. Well, that tank is full now. So it's probably burned half a jug of this. So this is almost 4 liters. So this snowmobile's actually burned 2 liters of oil since new, if you want to gauge it that way, really. This is the only jug of oil he had, and it came with it, with the cover, everything, all the paperwork. So if you just do the math, I don't know how many miles are on this machine, but I know they're equivalent to burning 2 liters of oil. 200 miles, 500, 100, I have no idea. Well, it's more than 100. So that gives you a good idea since 2009 how many, because the fellow was pretty honest, so that gives you a good idea on how many miles are actually on this machine total. So it's not very many. All right, so we got that topped up. All right, let's go on and we'll grease that skid on this thing. All right, let's see if we can get in here. Okay, we got that one. It's not gonna work. Alright, so as you can see, we got that grease fitting right there. And it's pretty important that you get them cross shafts. Very important that they get done. Those are your pivot points. And you got one up here high too, right here, that you gotta get way up. All right, you can see the grease coming out. On the other side over there, that fresh grease coming out, that's what you want to see. And that's pretty much it. Wow. Have a look underneath that thing. She's like brand new under there. Even look at the drive cogs. Look at your plastic cogs on there. Amazing. The track, the straps. She's brand new, man. Looks good. Okay, we got the lubrication done underneath. All right, you guys, we cleaned this thing up today. As you can see, it's getting dark out there. All right, so we cleaned up the Skidoo Tundra. We greased that skid on this thing. And I'm going to do a little bit more to it later on. I'm just going to lubricate some screws and some adjustment bolts, and for the track, I'll check that track tension a little bit. But other than that, we topped it up with oil and just cleaned it up, just got her looking good. And it just allows you to get underneath the machine, have a look around, and you just look for anything loose, any loose nuts and bolts, anything cracked from vibration, anything that's not quite right. But this machine shows well, and there you go. She's pretty clean all the way around now. She's looking good. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Just a little bit of cleaning up and a little show and tell and a little bit of maintenance on this 300 Tundra. My favorite bush machine by far. Okay, thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you again.